Good afternoon, everyone. I am very happy and glad to introduce you to Adriana Camera, Fabiola Reyes, Gonzalo Negron, and Antonieta Reyes. They are quality managers at Ceibal en Inglés from Montevideo, Uruguay, and their experience as teachers range between 14 and 30 years. Today, they are going to talk about quality management during COVID-19, accompanying teachers against old odds. Please be welcome, guys.
Thank you very much, Esther. Hello, thank you for being here today. My name is Adriana Camera. I work as a quality manager for the Ceibal en Inglés program in Uruguay, which is part of Plan Ceibal. This session will present an account of both Ceibal en Inglés quality manager's approach during the COVID-19 contingency in 2020 and the strategies used by Ceibal en Inglés to promote teacher well-being, which are intended to be of interest to teachers and administrators alike. Ceibal en Inglés is a program for teaching English through video conference equipment in Uruguayan public schools. The video conference lesson is delivered by a remote teacher of English who is not physically present to a group of approximately 25 learners that are in their own school video conference room with their classroom teacher. But let's allow our learners to tell you about it.
Hi, my name is Eugenia. I am 10 years old. I have got 2 dogs and 2 cats. I live in Soca.
Hi, my name is Tomás.
Hi, I am 13 years old.
Soca is a town between Montevideo and Lima, near La Floresta. This is my high school.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks, and you?
Very well, thank you.
The school of the future.
And today we're going to learn about SAFE.
SAFE es el programa de Ceibal en Inglés que incluye todo primaria y educación media. Viene funcionando.
And cat. In English, please.
At first, a foreign language is only noise, sounds. Slowly, these become words. Words make up sentences.
And then the sentences make sense. A remote teacher breaks into the class through audio conference system.
In conversation class, we learn about listening, speaking, and pronunciation.
It is not only about pronunciation. We learn about different cultures because we have teachers from all over the world.
We have more than 300 remote teachers.
From 6 different countries. More than 21 mentors. 17 English institutes. 6 quality managers.
580 schools.
And 90,000 students all over the country.
We are far, but we are not alone.
It's more than a video conference system.
It's a community.
We share values and convictions about social equity and universalization.
We believe that knowledge is beyond the walls of the classroom.
It's a living tool,
Always changing.
Encouraging self-management and empowerment.
And the best thing is that all teachers and students can be a part of the community.
The only rule is to be open to changes,
To surprises.
and value what each one has to contribute.
With the help of technology,
Together,
we can cross geographical and cultural borders.
this is a school of the future.
But today,
Well, we have 2 programs, the primary school program and the secondary school program. In primary, Ceibal en Inglés lessons are structured in a weekly cycle that comprises one 45-minute lesson introducing new language taught by the remote teacher via video conferencing called Lesson A, and 2 45-minute follow-up face-to-face lessons called Lessons B and C, in which students review and practice the language taught in Lesson A. These 2 lessons are facilitated by the primary school teacher, who is not expected to speak English. Both teachers, the classroom teacher and the remote teacher, need to communicate during the week to coordinate the following week's lesson objectives and agree on students' needs, the content of the lesson, homework, materials, and classroom organization. On the other hand, in the secondary and vocational schools, Se Vale Inglés program is called Conversation Class, and it's structured in a different way and has a different purpose. The remotes and the face-to-face lessons are understood as a weekly cycle as well, but they may comprise 3 or 4 lessons depending on whether learners are in middle school or high school. The first, third, and fourth lesson last between 35 and 40 minutes and are face-to-face lessons delivered by the classroom teacher of English, who is an English language teacher. His or her aim is to teach English to their students and also to work collaboratively with a remote teacher. The second lesson of this cycle is delivered by the remote teacher, who is always a native speaker of English and whose aims are to enhance learners' speaking and listening skills and serve as a model of pronunciation, and also to enrich lessons with his or her own cultural background, which is shared with the learners, and it is also compared and contrasted with their own culture. This intercultural exchange is an essential component of the Se Vale Inglés Conversation Class program. During the third or fourth face-to-face lesson, the classroom teacher of English teaches her own lessons or his own lessons, but also guides the learners to produce their oral outcomes in the form of dialogues, presentations, role plays, or any other communicative speaking activities as indicated by the remote teacher according to the conversation class materials used in the remote lesson. Se Vale Inglés video conference lessons are delivered by institutes, which must be English language schools or English language teaching centers at universities. Institutes are in charge of the provision of the service of remote teachers. Apart from remote teachers, the institute must appoint a Se Vale Inglés Institute coordinator or coordinators who will be accountable for ensuring the delivery and quality of Se Vale Inglés lessons, as well as for the compliance with all the regulations established by Se Vale Inglés. The Se Vale Inglés Quality Management Team is responsible for ensuring that institutes deliver lessons that meet Se Vale Inglés standards and manage the program effectively. Every academic year, quality managers carry out an institute quality review, which includes the institute assessment and the remote teacher assessment. For the former, institutes have to provide Se Vale Inglés with evidence of their processes. This evidence is placed in a virtual portfolio, giving quality managers a clear indication of how the institute operates. The evidence provided, mostly in the form of manuals, spreadsheets, and shared online documents, demonstrates compliance with the standards set by Se Vale Inglés. For the assessment of remote teachers, quality managers conduct classroom observations, provide remote teachers with the corresponding feedback after those observations, and evaluate the teacher portfolio. What I've just shared with you describes our normal practice and procedures. However, as we all know, the last 2 years have been anything but normal. The pandemic struck us all, so we needed to take immediate actions to quickly adapt to a completely different teaching learning scenario. So now, my colleague, Fabiola Reyes, will continue to share with you how the pandemic affected our work in Se Vale Inglés and the changes we had to make to adapt to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Adriana. Hello, everyone. My name is Fabiola. Thank you for being here with us. As Adriana said, now we're going to see how the pandemic changed our work. In SAY, the work of remote teachers is full of demands. They must follow their institute's internal rules and be supervised by the institute coordinator, and they must comply with SAY requirements and be evaluated by the quality manager. Remote teachers also need good interpersonal skills to successfully coordinate with classroom teachers the weekly cycle of lessons. During 2020, remote teachers and their institute coordinators met a new challenge, the change of SAY pedagogical model due to the pandemic. We all know that last year the world became more complicated with the unexpected arrival of COVID-19. In Uruguay, the pandemic sent us home on a Friday, immediately before SAY lessons were meant to begin the following Monday. So this forced us to modify our approach. SAY program had to be redesigned virtually overnight to meet the challenges of learners and teachers at home. In primary, the change was dramatic. Once again, we will let our learners tell you all about it.
Hi, how are you? In today's mission, we are going to keep learning about SAY. Let's review what we have learned so far.
SAY en Inglés started in primary schools in 2012. The goal was to expand access to English language teaching to all primary state school children in Uruguay. It's a blend of face-to-face remote teaching and distance learning, and it provides a technological solution to the scarcity of teachers physically located close to the schools across the country. It's a leading tool, always changing. And in 2020, everything changed. The synchronous ecosystem was devastated by COVID-19, and SAY had to find a solution to a new problem.
Let's go to the next station and see what happened.
Let's use our magic card to travel to the past and see what happened in 2020.
Marzo 2020, cuarentena. Desde SAY en Inglés diseñamos una estrategia de trabajo basada en desafíos que llamamos misiones.
Ay, no te puedo ayudar. De inglés no sé nada.
Tranquila, mamá. Acá dice Magic Card. Tengo que hacer un auto mágico.
Los docentes remotos presentan estos desafíos a través de 4 videos que suben a CREA. Y así las niñas y niños pueden completar sus misiones de manera asincrónica.
We have to complete the sentence. If the learning is not occurring at the same time, it is... ¡Excelente!
Finalmente, el ciclo se completa con una instancia de telepresencia, donde se expone el trabajo realizado.
To learn more about the missions, let's hear from the children. Para mí fue una experiencia única y nueva. Consistía en aprender inglés mientras jugabas y te divertías. A una semana subía una misión. Una vez tuvimos que hacer una maqueta, otras veces teníamos que grabar videos.
Hello, my pets. This is my puppet, Tina.
Una era tipo de a dónde quieres viajar y unas de qué compra tu mamá en el supermercado, qué cosas vas a comprar en la tienda.
Let's go to the supermarket.
Lo que más me gustó fueron las manualidades porque podíamos divertirnos pero a la vez pasar tiempo en familia.
I go to my friend's birthday party with my magic card.
Y mucha práctica también para la hora de hablar. De tanto practicar, mi hermana aprendió a decir también la frase.
Natalia and Jose are playing hide and seek. This is my amazing animal.
A mí me encantó la profesora porque nos explicaba muy bien y su carácter era muy lindo. El día que nos despedimos de ella, creo que lloró un poquito. Now, let's listen to the families.
Bueno, fue toda una adaptación, ¿no? Porque era algo totalmente diferente, no estábamos acostumbrados, si bien las plataformas se manejaban para deberes y demás, fue todo un cambio.
La computadora, el plan ceibal que les dan, que tenía todo, los papás no siempre lo sabíamos manejar. Yo sí, por suerte.
Is she my mother or my grandmother?
What is Roberta doing?
No. Y yo lo disfrutaba un montón porque, claro, era eso de llevar ese aprendizaje del idioma a algo concreto y a su vez que ellos disfrutaban.
Se integraron mucho, les gustó aprender.
And don't forget the remote teachers. We have homework for you. See you in the telepresence. Which was your favorite mission? What was challenging this year?
Hi!
Hi!
My favorite mission was creating my own puppet.
My favorite mission was going on holidays.
My favorite mission this year was traveling in time.
It was challenging because it was so new for everyone. We had to learn new things like editing videos.
The most challenging part about this year was reaching out to all the kids that did not have an internet connection at home. Had to arrange with the teacher, send her the homework via email or via WhatsApp so she could forward the information to the families.
Motivation and also being creative. It was an amazing challenge and we got great results.
Goodbye, children.
Goodbye, children.
Keep studying English.
I really enjoyed having this year with you. Bye. Goodbye. See you in the next mission.
Okay, as you could see in the video, remote teacher transition to distance learning. For the primary program, new lesson plans were produced and they revolved around the accomplishment of weekly missions by learners. Institutes had to create videos and other materials to be uploaded to SAI's learning management system that is called CREA. Every week, students would access those materials from home, upload a recorded presentation of the corresponding mission, and meet with a remote teacher on a video conferencing platform to have a 15-minute telepresence instance. In these circumstances, remote teachers and institutes coordinators had to learn to use different technological resources that most of them hadn't used before, while being limited by the constraints of working from home. In addition, remote teachers had to demonstrate their ability to quickly adapt, not only to the varied ways of contacting students and coordinating with classroom teachers, but also to the different measures that each school took to encourage and maintain student participation. For secondary schools, 3 contingency modalities were offered: synchronous, asynchronous, and blended. In the synchronous modality, remote teachers taught 30-minute lessons every week through a video conferencing platform. Students were asked to post their productions that we call oral outcomes to their virtual classroom in CREA. In addition, the remote teacher offered the students and the classroom English teacher a 15-minute session of office hours. On the other hand, the asynchronous modality was proposed for the groups that were unable to use video conferencing tools. In this proposal, the remote teacher recorded and uploaded to CREA a set of videos and practice activities, both based on conversation class lesson plans. Again, students had to post their oral outcomes to CREA. Finally, the blended modality was designed for groups in which only some students could participate in video conferencing lessons. In this case, synchronous lessons lasted 20 minutes. Also, as in the asynchronous proposal, the remote teachers had to create and upload videos and activities to CREA, where all students would then upload their oral outcomes. In this new reality, the quality management team had also to rethink the way they provided each institute with an annual qualitative feedback. We understood that we needed to ensure that institute would be able to meet SAI standards during the pandemic, but we also recognized that quality managers would better serve the program by supporting institute coordinators and remote teachers to help them navigate the changes and adapt to this new way of working. So now let's focus on how the SAI quality team managed to support remote teachers and coordinators while ensuring quality in this challenging year. The following is a list of the strategies we came up with to accompany institute coordinators and remote teachers in these troubling times. Number 1, we postponed formal evaluation. Number 2, we observed lessons with a focus on problem solving and prevention of issues. Number 3, we met periodically. Number 4, we promoted collaborative work. Number 5, we provided support in the revision of materials. Number 6, we held events to help teachers develop strategies for coping with difficult times. Number 7, we showcased samples of teachers' work. And number 8, we created opportunities to reward teachers. So let's see, number 1, postponing formal evaluation. We decided that remote teachers wouldn't be formally assessed. Instead, we focused on supporting the institutes to meet quality assurance obligations, recognizing the unique situation the pandemic had created for them. As usual, institutes were required to provide academic support to their remote teachers on an ongoing basis and to manage the complexities of the program and the issues that would arise. In the end, we took a flexible approach to the remote teacher assessment. We kept the remote teachers' portfolio and assessed them at the end of the year. On the other hand, informal quality manager observations allowed us to identify exceptional practices that could be replicated, as well as areas in teaching and learning that needed to be improved. This approach made it possible for us to support the ultimate goal of offering students the best possible learning experience that could be provided amid a pandemic. Let's see, number 2, observing lessons with a focus on problem solving and prevention of issues. In SAY, each remote teacher is observed at least once during the academic year using a standardized observation instrument. The quality managers may do the observation from the teaching point, where the remote teacher gives the lesson, from the school where the learners and remote teachers are, or via a multi-point, in which case the quality manager is in a separate teaching point connected by a 3-way conference call to the remote teacher and the school. But of course, this time classroom teachers, learners, remote teachers, and quality managers were now at home. So we decided to informally observe the lessons delivered through videos and telepresence, and also assess the LMS CREA in terms of interactions between remote teachers and learners, learners' output, and feedback provided by the remote teacher. For this, we had to create a new observation instrument that would allow us to give consistent feedback to institutes. Additionally, during the observation of the telepresence sessions, the quality managers took notice of the technological issues related to the video conferencing platform being used in order to help institutes solve them, or at least reduce their impact on the synchronous instances. For quality managers, having witnessed remote teachers adapting to the new design and eventually developing a savvy distant teachers was a bonus. On the other hand, one downside of not completing formal quality manager observations was missing direct communication with all remote teachers. The QM observation process requires that remote teachers reflect on the lesson before and after it takes place. And then a feedback session is scheduled with the quality manager, remote teacher, and institute coordinator. This session is also an opportunity for remote teachers to share any thoughts or concerns about the program. And we also come up with professional development ideas and special projects to work on. However, in 2020, we believe that requiring a feedback session with the quality manager would place an extra burden on remote teachers. So we decided to give the feedback on the observations only to the institute coordinator. Now my partner Gonzalo will continue with strategies 3, 4, and 5. Gonzalo.
Thank you, Fabiola. And hello, everyone. My name is Gonzalo, and I would like to thank you all again for joining our presentation today. Moving on from where my colleague Fabiola left, we have number 3, meeting periodically. Institute coordinators were invited to participate in periodic meetings, sometimes weekly, with different teams of Se Vale en Inglés. These encounters were led by Se Vale en Inglés's coordinator, and their main aim was to make general announcements, ask coordinators to report on how they were communicating with school principals and classroom teachers, as well as what was happening at their institutes in terms of production of videos and other materials, delivery of the telepresence sessions, and remote teachers' feedback to students' presentations on the learning management system, CREA. Additionally, the quality managers decided to start holding weekly meetings with each of the institute coordinators assigned to them. At these meetings, we would help coordinators to find strategies and ideas to support the remote teachers in the writing and editing of scripts, troubleshooting problems in CREA, and finding creative solutions to meet learners and teachers where they were, both physically and pedagogically. We would also identify areas of strengths and improvement, and we would follow up on action plans designed to tackle ongoing challenges. We help institutes to continuously monitor, assess, adjust, and improve. Working this closely with institutes made it possible for quality managers to identify potential problems early or tackle them sooner rather than later. Around August last year, we realized that we needed to meet with remote teachers, so we reached out to the coordinators to organize quality managers and remote teachers meetings. This was not possible across all the institutes, and even within institutes, it was not always possible for all remote teachers to meet at the same time. Nevertheless, all the meetings, imperfect and incomplete as they were still fruitful and reminded us of the importance of keeping the lines of communication open. Remote teachers took advantage of these meetings to share teaching challenges, to report tech issues, or to ask questions related to the materials and resources to be uploaded to CREA. Oftentimes, ideas or solutions were put forward by other remote teachers, and the whole group benefited from them. So apart from being cathartic, these meetings were productive for all parties involved. Number 4, we have promoting collaborative work. After the first few weeks of the beginning of the distance learning model, Se Vale en Inglés allowed institutes to produce some of the videos centrally. It meant that every week, each coordinator could appoint one or more remote teachers to record the common videos to be shared among all the remote teachers. Whereas the first video, which contained the introduction to the new mission, had to remain recorded by the remote teacher owner of the course. Se Vale en Inglés also suggested institutes to share videos and other materials among them, so that some institutes would be in charge of producing videos in exchange of activities or other resources to be uploaded to the LMS. At first, the reactions to these proposals ranged from lack of enthusiasm to reluctance to accept. Few institutes were willing to try because, even though recording videos was time-consuming, many teachers didn't like the idea of having another teacher appear in the videos that their students would watch every week. These institute coordinators and remote teachers saw the benefits of this practice. With the centralized recording of videos, teachers had more time to focus on producing the activities that students had to complete, providing feedback to the students' mission presentations, and planning for the 15-minute telepresence instance. This collaborative work within and among institutes allowed coordinators to assign different tasks to different teams of teachers. Some of them would be in charge of drafting the video scripts that coordinators would then approve. Some others were responsible for recording the videos. Other teachers would edit them. Others would design the activities to be uploaded to CREA. And others would actually upload all the files and documents to the LMS. Eventually, more institutes decided to adopt the collaborative approach as coordinators shared their positive experiences with the collaboration within and across institutes during the weekly meetings between institute coordinators and Se Vale en Inglés, which is not a small thing considering that they are all different providers. Number 5, providing support in the revision of materials. The quality managers help coordinators to edit the weekly video scripts that they had produced and also revise the supporting activities that students had to complete before recording the mission presentations. This revision usually took place during the weekly meeting, but it was sometimes done asynchronously. The quality managers had to ensure that the weekly scripts were complete and followed the guidelines provided by the Se Vale en Inglés pedagogical team. The quality managers team had devised a checklist with the elements required for each video to help institutes create their own scripts. Although Se Vale en Inglés had provided a sample script for each video, institutes managed to comply with the requirements of the checklist while making their videos unique. Now we leave you with my colleague, Antonieta Reyes, who will take this presentation to the next level of support for teachers.
Okay. Thank you, Gonzalo. My name is Antonieta. Thank you once again for joining us today. I will show 3 final strategies implemented to support our teachers. Number 6, holding events to help teachers develop strategies for coping with difficult times. Se Vale en Inglés invited all remote teachers to participate in a 2-session webinar in Spanish to reflect upon the new reality and to incorporate neurolinguistic programming tools to their work. As we all experienced, 2020 caused a lot of fears, stress, and anxiety. Many of us would say 2021 did the same. And our remote teachers were no different. These challenges were not only during the lessons, but just during life. The webinar was called in English, Coaching and NLP Tools to Work Out Strategies During the Pandemic. And it was delivered by one of our Se Vale en Inglés pedagogical assistants, who is also an NLP coach. Quality managers did not take part in this activity because we wanted to make sure that the teachers felt that they could speak freely and really just share how they were managing. So we didn't participate and we let them have that space with the NLP coach. This does not mean that we didn't strongly encourage. In fact, we did. And our approach was to promote the participation of the remote teachers and the coordinators in this session. And then we also participated in an internal discussion of the RT's responses to the anonymous survey that was administered at the end of that event. In this survey, remote teachers were asked to judge their experience in the program, their experience working with the new design of the program during the pandemic, and the support received from us, from Se Vale en Inglés, among other things. They also provided feedback on the experience in the webinar, suggested further topics for future encounters, which we have used to inform our current professional development scheme, and shared their expectations for 2021. I'm sad to confirm now that our expectations completely missed the mark. For those of you who don't know, in Uruguay, classes, the academic year goes from March to December. And that meant that in 2020, the pandemic hit us exactly at the start. So of course, we naively thought, oh, by the time we get to March 2021, we'll be okay. It wasn't. We still started this year in distance learning. On the other hand, through the anonymous surveys, we found out that while 2020 was difficult, RTs found the work fulfilling amid the challenges. And we believe this probably held them up in the first half of 2021. Number 7, showcasing samples of teachers' work. The 7 quality managers selected the best mission videos of each of the institutes with which we worked to be shown together with the students' presentation videos on our website. I invite you to our booth in the expo halls where we can also show you this. Some of those videos you've already seen in the video that Fabiola shared earlier, those little parts where you see kind of a lesson going on. These sample videos were also selected by us for inclusion in a national television program created to share with students at home all that teachers and administrators had been doing to keep education going during the pandemic. Even though this TV program had been designed with students in mind, the fact that the videos had been chosen gave RTs a sense of gratification and pride and encouraged them to continue producing quality videos. I'm going to show you a very short snippet of this. So like I said, it's a television program. It's called Tiempo de Aprender. You can see at the top, so it's time to learn. And this is from June of 2020. And what we have here, this was a show, a television show that played every day, twice a day for an hour. And it had many things going on, including sort of mini lessons. So they could have mini lessons on geography or history or math. And twice a week, they had English. So those videos that we selected would also show up in this show, which you can find on YouTube as well. So I'm going to play just a 30 seconds. If the volume is too low, I apologize. You should be able to get the gist.
Station 1. Look, I am Martha. This is my magic puppet, Fred. Hello, Fred. I am, and your name. Look, I am Santiago. I am Ana.
So again, very, very short snippet. We do invite you to check the rest of the videos out. Number 8, last but not least, creating opportunities to reward teachers. Towards the end of the school year, the quality management team had the idea of running a remote teacher contest in full recognition of the effort and commitment of our remote teachers during the contingency, and in celebration of the profound development all have experienced by successfully transforming their practices from remote teaching to distance learning. The contest was cleverly named Mission Accomplished, and asked remote teachers in primary to generate a lesson plan that included a mission to end the academic year, whereas remote teachers in secondary would create a lesson plan for the final outcome of the school year. There was one winner for each of the 3 levels of the primary program, and so that's 3 winners, and 1 winner in secondary program. We're very happy to share with you that the 4 winners received a laptop computer each, thanks to the support of the Regional English Language Office of the U.S. Embassy in Lima, Peru. So it's very exciting to be here presenting this and also sharing and appreciating the support of the organization. So I'll show you a picture. So of course, this is November 2020. These are our 4 winning RTs. And we are at the headquarters of Plan Ceibal in Montevideo, Uruguay. Of course, we are distancing, and some of them may have their masks hanging somewhere. And so this is what it was like. Still at that point, I think we were feeling rather optimistic of 2021. But we wanted to celebrate and thank you once again and showcase our amazing teachers. In closing, at the end of 2020, we didn't know what 2021 would be like. We had hoped that children and teachers would be back to schools, that institute coordinators and remote teachers would be back to their institutes. We did know, however, that 2020 had equipped us with many strategies that we have continued to implement in 2021. We now have confirmed that being far does not mean being alone, and that there's a lot that can be done with a little organizing and a lot of heart. QMs, quality managers, we now work much closer with the coordinators and with each other. We keep our periodic meetings, so that strategy number 3, it's very important for us. We not only keep the meetings where institutes get to meet with the entire Ceibal en Inglés team, but we also keep our weekly meetings, quality managers with coordinators, and we keep our own weekly meetings among ourselves. So quality managers, we meet many times, but we also have a standing time and day, so we can always have the opportunity to share what we have learned and share what has happened and how we've dealt with it. It's been important to keep those periodic meetings. We have learned that a great deal can be done with the time saved on commutes. I'm sure you have as well. And that a good office chair is not a luxury. We learned that one the hard way when our back started to hurt. And that we can be available without compromising our deadlines. We have learned to share more than before and to take advantage of technological tools. So now we're more likely to work on shared documents where we can collaborate together, not only synchronously, but also asynchronously. We have amassed a long list of documents, articles, ideas, approaches that have informed the steps we've taken in 2021. And our final advice for you, whether you're an administrator or a teacher or both, is this. Be flexible. When everything goes wrong, and even when it doesn't, but especially when it does, we need each other the most, and we need to be flexible of our expectations and what we can do. We need to keep our goal in mind. For us, and probably for all of us in this event, the goal is that students have learning opportunities, that they can learn, even amid a pandemic. So we kept that in mind throughout the decisions we made and the decisions our team members made for this program. Provide feedback. Make sure that you are keeping up, letting people know what's working, what can work better. Not so much what doesn't work. That doesn't really help. But do provide constructive criticism that can help each other do better. Focus on problem solving and prevention. This is really important for the feedback and also for the next one, which is keeping the lines of communication open. If you keep those lines of communication open, where you do set the time and day so you always meet, because it's very easy to say, I'm always available, just give me a call, but maybe people won't do it. But if you have set the time and the day, then you will have the place to do that. And if you share there, what are the problems that are happening, focus on solving those and then preventing those from happening elsewhere, it'll be better. Engage in collaborative work. We don't have to do this alone. So if you're an administrator, make sure that your teams are working together. If you're a teacher, reach out to your peers and also to your administrator and let them know, how can we work together? Who can I work in a team with? It may be a little bit difficult at the beginning. We're used to being very protective of our work, but it'll be much easier. Create spaces for catharsis. It is important that there is a space where we can say, I'm sick of this. This year needs to be over. I'm tired. So those places also need to exist. And finally, find ways to showcase best practices. Even as publicly as you may feel comfortable, so maybe on Facebook or Twitter or a group, but it can be privately in small groups, on WhatsApp, during a meeting, etc. But it is important. We do need, as human beings, we need to know when we're doing well. And we need other people to learn from those best practices. If you can reward them, that is even better. And we leave you at the end with a quote. All of you have probably seen this before, but we thought it was relevant for this presentation. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. So this is commonly attributed to Voltaire in the English-speaking world. And it basically means what it says. A lot of times we concentrate too much in getting everything done perfectly well. And we've been doing it well, and we should celebrate that as well. So I'm going to ask the rest of the team to join me on the screen, see if they can stand behind me or something. As we thank you for spending your time with us. I don't know how we look. I'm going to try and see how we look. So we have a few people in here. All right, more or less. Okay, but what we wanted to say was 4 things. One, that we wanted to thank you for sharing this time with us. We wanted to share that there is there we are, the 4 of us. We wanted to say that there is a article version of this presentation that is going to be published in a book very, very soon. And so we hope that you will be able to check it out. The book will be published in English and in Spanish, and you will recognize the name a little bit because it's similar to our presentation. It's Se Habla en Inglés Against All Odds, Pandemic Edition. And it tells the stories of everybody in Se Habla en Inglés and how we manage our different tasks in the pandemic, as well as the stories of teachers, classroom teachers, remote teachers, and institute coordinators during the pandemic.